Okay, welcome back. I could not get any of your messages. I guess you people have put up your questions, and that too came in the WhatsApp. So, as much as I remember that I have seen in WhatsApp, is one question was regarding it's about writing the LNB. Um, as far as I'm instructed, it should be in the hard copy. That is, you have to come to call after the completion of the practical of total practical done. It is to be written in your shoeless practical file, and you need to get it signed by me. That that day will be that day of signing that will be provided by the study center, as my study center suggested me that it will be only for the ones of 28149, that is for the Women's College Calcutta Bagh Bazaar Center. And the second question I saw was about some rule of how do we. Okay, I got the first question. How do we do the scoring of 16 pf? Well, I'll go into that. As far as I remember, oh yes, good evening everyone. I forgot to greet. I actually greeted in the last live, and somehow I just could not get your questions. Another question that I saw was about something was of rule 7. I don't remember what is your rule 7, because that was in my PPT, I guess, and I don't memorize my PPTs, so I don't know. Rule 7 of nonsense syllable is we constant. If we use constant C, then we. Yes. If we are using in a list, that is a list of memory span, or in the trial list, wherever, if we are making any of the CVC, any of your nonsense syllable using the alphabet of C, then we cannot use the alphabet K in that list. And in the same way, if we are doing it with the alphabet G, then we cannot use J alphabet in that list. Okay, another one was how we are to score 16 PF. Well, to score 16 PF, basically we need a stencil sheet, that is a yellow. I have shown you that yellow whole thing. So that you need to have. And as it's not a offline one, what we need to do, we have to make a hand scoring of that means that hand scoring that stencil sheet, that it needs to be put on a blank answer sheet, and I'll have to mark the scores for each of the answers, and that can be shared with you. But any of the time, this scoring can be done only if you have that hand scoring. As it's not an online exam style, you have to do it in the offline pattern that we generally do. So we need a stencil key, or else we need a hand scoring, but we need a scoring key to check for the answers of 16 PF. Okay, well, ma'am, do we need to do any 5 practicals from the handbook, or we have to do 5 specific experiments told by you? Also, ma'am, we are doing practicals from handbook, so there is no point following the guidelines, right? Thank you for the clarification. Oh, welcome, Ipshita. Well, Shreya, there are many, I guess there are plenty of practicals as I could remember, but the problem is there are certain practicals that you need to have that is a performance test that cannot be done unless and until the students are coming to the college, so that needs to be opted out. So I'm trying to teach you the things that can be shared with you online, and so that you can understand. Basically, I'm trying to do it in a paper pencil way, so that you don't need to have any extra additional instruments. And if it's a testing material, because I'm avoiding experiments also, because experiments can be done only if you come to college, so I'm avoiding that also. I'm trying to do so that you can be at your home at your ease, and still you can do your practicals. ওকে, আনিশা ম্যাম, আমাদের অনলাইনেও একটা পিডিএফ প্রোভাইড করা ছিল, ওটা কি করবো না? I don't know about this. What online PV? Well, as far as I remember, when I asked about this, someone told me that the online batch and offline batches are different. So what am I? I'm supposed to teach the offline to batch, that is of, I guess, something 2021 batch. I don't remember that also, but it's not for the online batch that I'm teaching. But if you find it interesting and you want to know, you can join the classes. Else, if you find the classes redundant, you need not join them. So ma'am, in all, how many do we have to do? I'm trying to make it 5. I'm trying. Let's see how much I can do in this time with all things that it needs to be actually explained to you. I really don't know, but I'll try so that you can do as much as you can. When we will have to submit the practice. Till now, I do not know when you have to submit, because I guess that guideline you will get from the study center. Welcome, Anisha. So any more questions regarding the practicals, the memory span, any of the trials or 16 PF, you are free to ask. Monisha, can you tell more about the offline classes you are doing? I could not get your point. Offline classes as in? Any more questions? Monisha, can you just clear your question? I actually cannot get you. What about the offline class? We are not, ma'am, you just mentioned that for the 2020 batch you will be conducting. Can you give the... Okay, no, I'm conducting, I guess, these classes that I am doing, the syllabus that I am following is for that batch. And the ones who are entitled only for the online course or the online syllabus, that I am not doing. Okay, that is not actually assigned to me till now. And then can you give the gist of trials if possible? Gist of trials? What is gist of trials? Gist? Explanation. I shall explain. Shall I explain you what gist of trials? How can that be done? That summary of trials. Summary of trials. You have understood the procedure of taking the data. It's Sanchoita Banerjee. You have understood how this data needs to be taken. See, I'm not getting your questions, but I'll just go through it in a way. Like, firstly, you have to give a subject 10 nonsense syllables at first. That is for the memory span. And remember, nobody's memory span can be less than 3. For any of the normal individual, we do not have memory span below 3. If it's below 3, that person is mentally retarded. And we are not dealing with mentally retarded cases. Whatever we have, we are actually dealing with normal individuals. So actually we cannot have memory span below 3. So below 3, that is for the normal. Obviously you have to take the data, but I'm telling you, memory span can never be below 3 for any normal individual of normal intelligence, any individual with normal level of intelligence. Then after that, the total number of the correct response that is given by the subject, that is if it's 3, If it's 3, then it's 3 into 4. If it's 4, then 4 into 3. That is the total number of correct responses in the memory span list is to be multiplied by 4. And then this decides the size of the list. Now after you get the size of the list, now if we take the example of 4 and the subject has the memory span of 4, then that is multiplied by 4 and we get the answer of 16. Then for list A1, that is for the whole list learning, we need to have 16 nonsense syllables, and these 16 nonsense syllables will be learned till 100% reproduction in trials. That is, we need to show the subject the syllables through the paper window till the time the subject could reproduce 100% of it. And when the subject is done, we will tell them, instruct them to reproduce the list without seeing it. That means that is the post criterion trial. And after this, there is a rest of 5 minutes for the subjects, and then you will be conducting the first part list. Now part list is basically the whole total list divided by 2. That means you have part 2 list of equal strength, that is half of the whole list. That is, now for this example, as the whole list of the 16 syllables, so your part list will be of 8 and 8. Now in this case, for each part list, the subject need to learn them trial by trial till 100% reproduction. After the 100% reproduction of list B1, we are not taking the PCT, but we are straight moving on to part B2. And our part B2 is also allowed to learn for 100% reproduction in the same way as in trials and through the paper window. And after 100% reproduction, now we are taking the PCT for both B1 and B2 together. That means the PCT of B1 and B2 will be together. Okay, this is what it should be done. Okay, Mundira ma'am, as we are doing the offline classes, no, we are not doing the offline classes, we are doing the online classes. How will you get this? Actually, oh, acha. Listen, now as I told you, I'm telling you this many times, you need to have a scoring key to score it, as we are not doing. So you didn't have the 16 PF booklet also that I shared with you in PDF. So in the same way, if I have to make that from that stencil sheet, I'll have to convert it to a hand scoring, and then can be shared with you in the PDF format so that you can score it. Okay, Acha Shanchita, then I have actually answered your question. So good. So do you need to know anything else? Age limit of a tasty. Okay, actually we do not fix it in that a way. We tell it that it should be an adult subject, but you can restrict it till the age of 40. Can it be under 18? For which test you are telling this? Memory span under 18, above 16 to 18 could be but not below 16. But not below 16. Anything else? No, I'm not telling that you'll have to have it in 16 to 18 only. No. Above 18, it can be obviously done. As you said, how low we can go. Below 18, you asked, can it be under 18? So, can it be? It's maximum of 16 that you can go, but not below that. But I'm not telling you you'll have to take it only 16 to 18. You can take anyone, 20, 22, 25, 26, 30, anyone. Explain what is the post criterion trial. Is just like any criterion that is fixed for you, and you are taking the trial after that. For the whole versus part method of learning, actually the criterion is fixed before that. Like in this practical of PCT, we are telling you that the criterion is 100% reproduction. For this 100% reproduction, after the 100% reproduction, you can take the PCT, that is the post criterion trial. For any of the practicals of memory other than this, there are other criterion set. So accordingly, we take the PCT after that criterion. Just an assumption. Just an assumption. No, it's not. I have cleared your question. I guess I guess it's clear to you, Monisha. I guess it. PCT also I said. Is it clear to you, Ipshita, about the PCT? Okay. Thank you. Understood. Okay. Thank you. So, questions? Any more questions you have? And if you have posted something on your WhatsApp and I missed it, obviously I actually cannot go through so much messages. Just put it in over here so that I can get it and answer. And if it's some of your friends, then also you can have it, because when the live will be shared, then everybody will get to know about the questions answers. Do we have any more questions, or shall I end the session? Oh, I missed a question. That is that the 16 to 18 may have a better score in memory span? No, not really. But below 16, it is basically 16 is also not adult, but yes, we can take it as near adult, young adult. So 16 to 18 can be taken, but below it's like a childhood time, and we do not take into account that. Obviously it's better for them to remember. And another thing is, as I told you about that associative value, so exposure of the children, that also actually changes or colors this memory span, memorization capacity. Any questions? Okay, do we have any more questions? I really don't know. If you can anyone just volunteer with a yes or no, then that will be easy for me. I guess I have answered all your queries. I don't think any of your queries are left. So, may I sign off now? Oh, okay. Okay, thank you students for being so lovely and patient student. As the last live that I came into this one, I couldn't actually take your questions, but nothing was visible to me on my screen. But in this session, I could see all of your questions, and so just a bit technical error, I guess. But thank you so much. So I'm signing off. Bye.